Happy Thursday. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Time for our happy hour. Time to get happy. Oh my goodness, what is going on in the world? Too much is going on in the world, people. Way too much stuff is going on. It is out of control. We have to just enjoy this process. That's kind of, we could have meltdowns, right? We could have meltdowns. We could be upset. We could be, oy vey vey, I don't know what we're going to do. Or we could just kind of take care of ourselves, be kind to our friends, pursue truth and justice. It was kind of interesting today to see the interview with Trump where he didn't seem to, was it yesterday or I don't know, when the signal thing broke, he didn't seem to know what was happening and he didn't seem to know what the issue was, which was kind of interesting. What did he say? He really went off. He started talking about there are signal issues. He was saying that there are issues with signals and there's miscommunications because he thought it was a signaling problem, not signal. And then he started talking about whales, whales interrupting signals in the ocean. Which doesn't really have anything to do with what people are talking about. So that was kind of interesting in the sense that I was going to close some of my windows because I think I have too many windows open and then I don't get a good, it takes too much juice and then I don't get a good, that's why my picture doesn't always come out well. Because when I do this show, I'll often have 4 or 5 windows open because I have to move to different places and then that can weaken my signal, I think. And I hear Mila fighting a monster. It's kind of funny. She finds a little bit, she thinks pieces of plastic are alive. And then sometimes I hear her like she's murdering something. And it's like a piece of tinfoil or something on the ground. Hey, Mila, you want to join us? You want to join us for happy hour? You coming? I'm going to look outside. Yeah? You coming? You coming? Let's go. Come on. Come here. Let's go. Hey, come on. You coming? You belong up there. I got you. Hi. There you go. Now you give me a kiss. I love you. Do you want to look outside? You going to join us for happy hour? Who's out there? Is there the birdie outside? Is Shylock out there making problems? Oh my goodness. So, this is basically our Thursday get together where we hang out and, I feel my cough coming on. I love her. I did take Benadryl last night. I didn't take any today. So my cough is, hopefully, I think she's going to set me off. I have been cleaning. I've been cleaning and I've been using, but you say I haven't coughed yet because I cleaned and I took my medicine, but I can feel it starting to happen. She's shedding a lot. This is her spring coat. You can see parts of it are coming out here. And it's a beautiful coat. You see the puffy parts fall off. She lost her winter and now she's got patches coming off. Big chunks. She likes to be brushed. She knows that mommy has an allergy and that the doctor wants me to wash her. And She doesn't always enjoy that. Sometimes I have to launder my cat. But what can you do? Yeah, I love her. She's such a sweet, precious being. Oh, I hear you purring. Everybody can hear you purring. You gonna give us a purr? Yeah. Ooh, very nice. I could hear a little bit of a purring going on. All right. So I groom her and I wipe her down with special medicine that's supposed to neutralize it. And we have her on a hypoallergenic food to help with the coat and allergy, which has helped a lot. It's reduced believe it or not, my cough used to be so bad I couldn't record. Then I had to go to the doctor. I've got one. Do you guys want to talk about this? I got one polyp. I mean, like, I've always had runny noses. I've always had this. I've always had runny noses, postnasal drip. I've always had those issues. But yeah, so Benadryl is really strong. It's 25 milligrams or 12.5 if I did the children's, which I also have. So last night I took 25 milligrams and it's just so strong. And then, no, I would never subject her to a groomer. I do it myself. Looks like she's got a big chunk that came off on the top over there. I just noticed. There's a big chunk coming up right there. I'm sorry, sweetie. I didn't mean to harass you. I'm going to brush you later. I'll brush it off later. Yeah, every day I brush her. Huge amounts are coming off right now. And then sometimes she sleeps under the bed and there's like big fur balls under the bed. I thought that she was like a short hair. I wouldn't have these kinds of problems, but unfortunately she is a really, get her shaved down? I don't know about that. Do you think that? I think what I'm doing right now is working. I mean, my cough is much improved. I don't take like my doctor said, I didn't have to take the Benadryl every single day, only when I'm acute. And at night, it can help me sleep. So last night, and if in the daytime, if I'm reacting, I only want to take like 12.5. So tell me, you guys, what you eating, what you drinking, where you coming from? I am in beautiful Portland, Oregon. No, I am not in Israel yet. Yes, I will be in Israel next month. I'm feeling excited. It's going to be a fun trip. I love seeing everyone, and especially because I'm seeing people that want to help. You know, they want to help, and I like that. I'm you know, what is it in the Christian Bible? They talk about there's all kinds of people that make up a community, or Christ consciousness. It's like helpers, and so the universe is bringing me a lot of Oasis One helpers, Palestinian, Jewish, everything is. They're coming together and like, okay, Whims, how can we help? And I like that. I like that I'm attracting helpers. Because that's what the world needs more of right now, is more helpers. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We'll do the Empath's prayer, I guess. And we can go ahead and do some blitzes. I think we've got enough people here. We've got 123 people. That's enough to start a party. That's a nice sized wedding, right? Not too big, not too small. 123 people. I had 40 people at my wedding. Everybody invited showed up. We ordered way too much food when I got married. We wanted it. We had, it was koshered. It was a kosher caterer, Persian. So we had Persian wedding food, which is excellent. It was like chicken kebabs and rice pilaf. And we ate very well. Yeah, I love that kind of food. Everybody loved it. The nice thing about also Persian food is that most of it's vegetarian. like all the rice and the vegetables and everything. It was only the kebab. Everything was vegan except for the kebabs. And they even had vegan kebabs made from mushrooms and stuff. So like everybody at the wedding could have something. It was great. Yeah. Okay, let's do the empath prayer. If anyone needs to receive a healing at this time, please let us know your name or the name of somebody that we should be praying for. And we will happily include them in our prayers. Cantaloupe, yummy. I am semi-fasting today. I am having a little bit of coffee, but I'm just going through something where I just want to eat very light today. I might make a soup. I'll be in Israel about 3 weeks. Trying to meet people that are creating peace communities. We're trying to create oasis zones. I'll be going to different universities, talking about their grad programs to see if they have any connections I can make. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Yeah. We don't need fighting right now. That's what I would say. If anybody asks, like, well, what do Palestinians and Israelis need right now? We don't need marching in the streets with people screaming with keffiyehs. That's screaming at Jewish students on their way to what happened in Colombia, what happened here at PCU where I had to call the police. You're free to protest, but harassing Jews on campus and targeting them and threatening to harm us, where I had to call the police and the FBI. So that is why people are being deported. You don't get to terrorize Jews just because you're making. This is not how we make political statements. It's not also how we help Gaza and the people of Gaza. It's not how we help Palestinians. Unity is how we help. Getting people to stop fighting, getting people to create programs like Oasis One. You're threatening me, and I'm the creator of Oasis One. So clearly you don't want peace and unity. You just want to attack Jewish people, right? If you cared about peace, you would be on board with Oasis One, because Oasis One is going to save millions of lives and is already saving lives. So if you really care, join Oasis One. That would be my message. Build peace zones, because here's the thing. You can't fight a war if there's no soldiers. And if everybody just says, I quit, and leaves and says, they're having a party over at the Oasis Zone. Anybody want a barbecue? You want to have a kosher dog and some s'mores? And most people would take the kosher dogs and the s'mores. We're done. And that's exactly what's happened. And so it's hard for Hamas, because Hamas can't keep the fight going because everybody left. They're like, hey, there's s'mores over there. They got food. They got jobs. They got kitchens. The buses are lining up over at Shalom Kerem. We're out of here. You have to stay and fight and kill the Jews. No, we don't. No, we're leaving. That's your story. We see you're sticking to it. You've demolished our entire country. There isn't anywhere to live. Our children are sleeping in tents and getting diphtheria because of you. So we're leaving. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's do the empath's prayer. Now, we need them to come back. Otherwise, who would be? No, we want them to come back, because if they're peacenik, why not? They have to come back to build Oasis. We can't have Oasis zones in Gaza with no people there. So after they're vetted and after all the crazies go, that's exactly what's going to happen. Well, Trump can dream about his Riviera, but Peace Act, we're not going to let him do it. We're peaceniks. We're not part of that. That's the other thing people have to realize. Oasis One is not part of the whole Trump caravan thing. Trump Riviera, what is the crazy thing? He's crazy. The man's senile. All right, I'm sorry, but it does sound that way. Let's, that should be nice. Let's bring in the empath's prayer. Oh, I'm sneezing now. Whew. I love you, babe. I love you. You make me sneeze. Whew. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. And for those of you who are seeking healing at this time, we pray that you receive a perfect healing, both for yourselves and those you love, in mind, body, and spirit. And together, collectively, with the force of our love and the higher power, we say, Amen, amen, amen. May all souls be healed. Amen. Well, folks, what do you want to talk about? My little allergy ball has decided to have her little snacky, her little sleepy poo. She's down there. Hopefully, she won't give us any trouble. And now we can begin our fun story of figuring out what all of you want to talk about. I'm leaving April 22nd for Tel Aviv. I'm trying to set up as many meetings as possible. I also have to go to Jerusalem. I have some meetings set up in Jerusalem, and so I have meetings in Tel Aviv, meetings in Jerusalem, and then Beersheba. I have to get to Beersheba to the university, Ben Gurion U, which also does the Bedouin studies. And I'm going to reach out to them to see if they can help me with developing the oasis. I want to develop oasis zones for the Bedouins in the Negev because they have a high unemployment, and we want to end poverty in Israel amongst everybody. We want to be inclusive and bring everybody in. So we're trying to build oasis zones for the Bedouins in the Negev. So the university is in the Negev and has the Bedouin studies, and I need to learn more. So if I'll help them, they help me, and let's see if we can't create some amazing kibbutzes for our Bedouin brothers and sisters in the beautiful Negev. So that's the main reason I'm going. All right. First thing, I want to give gratitude to the amazing Joel Tilson. He is here with us today, offering his services as the floor director. Everything he says goes. He's here to protect us and to make sure I can read things. I'm kind of blind. Joel Tilson says the window of event for Putin in April. Yeah, next week is April. And I've always predicted that all hell breaks loose in April. Now, we've talked about phases. Y'all want to talk about the phases a little bit? Everybody remember the phases? Does anybody remember the phases? We've talked about the fact that there are 7 phases. Or no, why am I saying 7? There's 5 phases that we have to go through in order to end the crazy, right? So when we talk about those 5, how do we? Joe Biden introduced the first 3. Remember that? So phase 1 was that they attempted a ceasefire. Phase 2 was the exchange of hostages. And then 3 was the rebuild, which we hoped would be including Oasis. And it appears that is exactly what's going on. And I'm glad that they're not waiting until the war ends to start Oasis. They're getting people out now. Why be on Hamas's timetable? You know what I mean? So we've talked extensively about the data that was collected. This data, of course, was sent to the IDF. I believe it was September early December of 2023. And this is based on calculations of war movements, etc. Now, when I'm a remote viewer, I will see the phases because I go into trance state and I get out of my ego, and then I try to figure out the problem in the trance state. I ask the universe for assistance, and then the universe will show me, okay, objectively, you got to get to ceasefire. Okay, then once we get, then you got to do this. So I was able to develop the first 3 phases and then 4 and 5 in the trance state. And then I went back using supercomputers to find out if I was right. But this is a copy of what I sent in December of 2023. And you can see everybody's data came back the same. So for how I came to my data is I used mindfulness techniques of heart-centered remote viewing. This is to figure out the problem and how to solve it. And then I used supercomputers to test my data. And then after I did that, I delivered it to the IDF. The IDF has hundreds and hundreds of people. It also has what's called the 8200, which is their basically their NSA that checks their security. So everything has to run through the 8200. So every time if I do something like this, I'll send it to the 8200, and then they'll check my data to see if I'm crazy, or if I'm crazy and right, which is usually the case, or just right. Or so going back to what's happening, we see 4 is the isolation of Putin. This is one of the things you see because, he destabilizes the whole world. So inevitably, they tried to work with him, but it always comes back to the same thing. He has to be isolated. And then the 5th is the dismantling of Iranian leadership, that you cannot have normal relations with this leadership or bring them into the Abraham Accords because they're not willing partners. I mean, they just gave a woman 180 lashes for not covering her hair. Okay, so that is not somebody that can participate in oasis building or peace building or anything that they're trying to do in the Middle East right now. So it's just common sense that this would happen. So we're now going into what's happening globally, and what's happening globally is that Putin is being isolated, which we knew because we did the calculations and we invited other people, use supercomputers to do the calculations, because I would like people to be empowered and learn mindfulness, because it prevents us from being so reactive, and then we can be more just based on facts. Yeah. Yeah, Web Shiva, that actually got debunked, and they're in a lot of trouble. The cast from No Other Land, there were people filming them doing the filming, showing that they were harassing people, including the IDF. The IDF filmed everything, and including Hamdan Bilal picking fights and getting people killed and all kinds of things. And so once they edited out the horrible things that they did, it looked like they were the victims. It didn't show the other side of it. The point is that the extremism on both sides is the problem. And anytime look at what those Jews did. Well, look at what those Palestinians, you're not helping. Whichever side you're on, you're not helping. You're not helping us. The only thing we should be focusing on is unity. How can we help keep people alive, safe, and away from the crazies on both sides, and build unity? And that would be my feedback about that. All right, so let's take a look at the cards on Putin. So phase 4, he has to go. He can't stay. There's no hope for him. And they tried to work with him, and they couldn't, because the guy is crazy, and he's a threat to Poland. The entire world cannot sit on bated breath while he builds up his army and his nukes and tries to take over the world because he's got some messianic delusion. He's a drug addict with messianic delusions. That's what it looked like. He's hanging it up. Hanged up. You wonder if Putin is even going to have a future, hanged up. And then his opposition. His opposition is in hell. Nine of Swords, up at night, stress. He has terror. What people need to, you cannot simply allow people to terrorize you. What's happening to Ukraine is what happened to Israel when they got invaded on October 7th. And then everybody made it out like Ukraine was bad or Israel was bad, right? But when you look at it objectively, and this is what Trump is and Elon Musk are doing, they're making it out like evil Ukraine. Ukraine got invaded and had 200,000 children kidnapped, right? So same thing happened in Israel. They got invaded and their kids got kidnapped, right? And so then you fight back, right? So it becomes a war, and then innocent civilians die, and then you wind up being played by the terrorists. Look, you killed our kids. So what Oasis One does is it takes control of the situation, says, we're leaving. We're not going to play your game. We're not going to have you fire on us and use the Palestinian people as human shields, and then they get killed, and then we get blamed. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, anybody here want to leave? We'll get you to safety. And then you won't have any people to use as human shields. And the same thing here. Nine of Swords with is the opposition to Putin. He is a terrorist. Putin is a terrorist. He has terrorized Europe. He has murdered countless children. He has kidnapped hundreds of thousands of babies and children and the man's a psychopath. There is no way to negotiate. You cannot be neutral. There is no neutrality. Hopes and fears. It's all coming crashing down. Honestly, I think it's all crashing down for Putin. I think everything is crashing simultaneously. I think he destroyed the economy of Russia, and they're now bombing Moscow. There's been some serious bombings happening of Moscow, which is what also was mentioned, in the remotes. They're marching on Moscow. It's just, what did and then he thought that Trump was going to help him. Trump can't help him. Final outcome, it's his karma. It's his karma. His presidency. He's hanging up his presidency, the clarification. President. His opposition that is being terrorized by him carries the higher ethics. The church, the higher ethics. The hopes and fears over the collapse of Russia. A strong woman. There's a woman in the Duma who's going to be the future leadership of Russia. There's a strong women arising. I keep seeing that in the cards. Final outcome, Two of Swords, heart is closed. Yeah, you know what? They're taking him out. A lot of stuff is collapsing simultaneously with that Tower card, which leads me to think that he's not going to be able. It's just too many things happening at once, and he won't be able to stop it. All right, this next one is martial law declared by Trump in April. Let's take a look. Martial law declared by Trump in April. Oof, his karma. Trump is facing his own, no. Ooh, we're looking under the hood. What is that? What are you doing there? What are you doing? The scholars are coming for him. It's like he's a bug being inspected under a light. Look at that. They're picking over him. The hopes and fears, Ace of Swords, that he will be victorious. And then the final outcome for him, Two of Wands. Partnerships in the West. He's looking for partnerships in the West. Interesting. Partnerships in the West. He's destroying his partnerships in the West. No, it's crashing. Look, Trump. Stock market crashing too. Everything's crashing. He can't control it. What's happening to Putin is now happening to Trump. Dang, what happened with the stock? Why is there a tower in the next 2 weeks? What the hell? How's the Dow? I thought it recovered a little bit. Oh, jeez, no. Oh, man. Damn. Sorry. Well, did everybody, you guys, Yeah, it's only going to get worse. I'm sorry, you guys. Whoa. Listen, ouch. Yeah, ouch. Listen, you guys, I don't think I would be investing in the market until things stabilize. And it's according to these cards, we've got another major dip happening in about the next 2 weeks. Courts are his enemy. Queen of Swords is coming after Trump. Oh my God. I've seen that before. Queen of Swords is the sword of truth. It's also this pen is mightier than the sword. Its truth is mightier than the sword. The truth, inspectors, investigators under a microscope, and then the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Truth, and the Sword of Justice. The hopes and fears over his victory, it's over. He's getting taken out. He's getting taken out. Look at that. Whoa. Knight of Pentacles means it's over. Final outcome for Trump. Oh, that's a shame. 8 of Wands. Whoa. There's fighting and stress in his partnerships. And then there's this massive tower. Something's going to blow up or some kind of big thing is happening in I think this could be in a week, less than a week. What's happening in 4 days? Where are we at in 4 days? Some major events happening in 4 days. Could you guys write it down? And then we'll talk about it when it happens. But I like to give you guys the news early, and then we can document, and it's fun when we go back and I get to sing the good. Now, Eid al-Fitr, which is the end of happy Ramadan, everyone. Hope you all having an easy fast if you're practicing. Eid, the big party, is on the 31st. I wonder if anybody's doing any events. I used to go to those a lot, and then I kind of lost contact with people. But those are nice if you can get to just from a cultural experience to be able to experience Eid. It's lovely. It's actually quite lovely. But that's on the 31st. So I'm wondering astrologically if there's some kind. I know that energetically this is a very special Ramadan. I have friends who are Muslim that have talked about it. There's a lot of mystical healing and spiritual and supernatural things that are happening this Ramadan that people are witnessing. That is it's a magical time for peace, and anything is possible. But I'm telling you, I hope nobody makes problems on Eid, because that's the big parties are breaking out. The night of the 31st, everybody, you break fast for the final time, and you make people will cook a lamb. It's really nice. You can get your henna done. My girlfriends do my henna. Yeah, so towers coming in, you guys. So just stay safe. If there is a march, can you all please be safe and take care of yourselves? If you guys are marching, I'm marching, we're all marching next. Was it April 5th is the march, national protest? I will be at the marches. Come find me here in Portland, as will my sister. Will be in the protest. So be sure and find me here in Portland, Oregon, if you want to join me and walk with me. But yeah, something major's coming. Okay. Yes, and if you know of an Eid party in Portland and you want to invite me for some hummus, feel free to text me. I have a great time. I always love Eid parties. All right, next question. Let's see what we're doing here. I'll go here. Yeah, martial law. No, it's not going to happen. He can dream. Grooming Mila. No, I'll groom Mila today. I took medicine like my doctor said, and I'm just doing what my doctor said. So that's why my cough is almost non-existent today. I just have to do what my doctor says. And I get lazy. If I don't want to clean my house, then and I don't take my medicine, I'll get a reaction. Okay, did you get my email, Whimsy? Yes, I did, Joel. Joel is a royalty. He is a member of the royal family. He traces his lineage all the way back to King Farouk, which is really rather exciting. So I have a member of the royal family here helping me out. I feel very privileged. Yes, descended from kings, our Joel. Yeah, I thought it was really cool, Joel. I have a little bit of that on my mom's paternal side. My mom's dad's not Jewish. Harold Harold Llewellyn Godwin, and I guess that's Welsh aristocracy. Very eugenic, which is why my grandparents never got together. It was one of those things. Nice Jewish girl and bit of an aristocrat. Yeah, they didn't marry. Yes, but in answer to your question, getting back to the whole issue of why we see this tower coming up, it does feel like April is a banger. Like it's gonna be really intense. Y'all taking care of yourselves? Y'all staying safe? Ooh, a calzone. Those are lovely. Little pocket taco. Little. It's like it's Italian taco, right? Is that what they call them? Because it's like wrapped and you can eat it like a taco. Calzone. How long will you be gone? Okay, we already got to that one. Please include me in the healing. We did that. I leave on the 22nd. We got that. Okay, Web Shiva, next question. How ill is Putin at this point? Will his health affect the war in Ukraine? You know what? He does have aspects where you get the impression that he's a drug addict and that his relationship, I felt when I looked at Prigozhin and I looked at him and I sized the situation up, I was like, this is your drug pusher. Prigozhin gives you drugs. He's your supplier. You're a heroin addict. This guy's shooting you up. You're doing speedballs. That's where they mix a little heroin, they mix a little amphetamine and methamphetamine, they shoot you up, right? This guy's got a problem. The problem with shooting up cocaine, shooting up amphetamines, shooting up heroin, mixing them together, very popular thing to do in East Berlin. It's interesting, the highest percentage of heroin addicts in the Russian army were in the area that Putin was involved in. Everybody was on heroin. I mean, East Germany was the ground zero for European heroin. And so much so that it maintained a lot of the crime. Did he get involved in the crime world, the drug world? Is that when he first gets introduced and shoots up? All I can tell you is that when I do remotes on it, sometime around his time in Europe, etc., he starts experimenting with drugs, certain individuals. Then we fast forward, we go into his relationship with Prigozhin, who supplies food and catering and is going here, there, and Afghanistan, here, there. This guy's got the purest heroin. He's making his money not supplying food. This guy's a drug dealer. This guy's going here, there. He's doing drugs, and the Russians aren't doing anything about his little dealings because the money is going into crypto. People are benefiting, like the oligarchs, and so it's a tacit okay to someone like Prigozhin, who's a drug dealer, right? So Prigozhin gets hired to be a supplier. And then he's got a little secret about the man. Well, I know your secret because I supply you with your stuff. And now he has power over Putin. And you're going to pay me. You're going to pay me well. You're going to pay me for this army. And you're going to pay me for that. And you're going to give me a tip when I take this Bakhmut. You're going to give me money for that. You're going to be, and he bankrupted Russia. The war bankrupted Russia. So Putin had to fire him. Prigozhin responded, "I'm going to out you, right? I'm going to tell everybody that I am your supplier. That I've been taking care of the crazy old man," he called him. You got a lot of balls if you're telling Putin live on TV, "You're a crazy old man," right? Because I got a secret and you can't touch me, because it had that aspect. And so then when you go further into it, you realize that he's a megalomaniac, he's a drug addict, he's got delusions, he thinks he's the second coming of Christ, he's gonna that he has these, you know, messianic visions when he's stoned on heroin and coke and amphetamines, where he thinks he's a brilliant genius who's going to conquer the world. And it's this strung out guy. And the lights, and he said in the remote, the lights of Moscow will never set on the world. I will hail in the true church of Russia. That Russia is the true church. I am the leader of this church, right? Just like King Henry was the head of the British church, the Church of England. He's going to be the head of the Russian church, and he's the Messiah of that church. And it's going to take over the four corners of the world, hailing him as the great victor, right? So how do you get to be this crazy? You have to start off a little bit crazy. And then you have a drug supplier who's giving you the purest heroin out there, the purest coke, the purest whatever you want. And that's really the story of Prigozhin and Putin, and why he had so much power over Putin, and ultimately why he bankrupts the country and can take whatever he likes, and Putin eventually has to take him out. Okay, next question, Karen. Amy Coney Barrett. Well, she is breaking away from the guy, from the guys, and she's been a little bit more independent than people thought she would be. Let's take a look. Ace of Wands. She feels that what she is trying to do and what she is trying to achieve, she feels that she's doing good in the world, and she feels like she is succeeding. Her opposition is the case is being brought before her. Three of Pentacles would be to present evidence in a court. It's a blueprint. But in a case of a courtroom, I see the Three of Pentacles as evidence or of a crime, or we are presenting to you this. She sees it as something that she has she's taken issue with. So something is going on that she's taking issues with. There's something here about a trip she's planning. Final outcome for her is her faith. You know, this is somebody who grew up knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt who she was in terms of her faith. And that makes it really hard for her to relate to people that haven't had that kind of assurance that she feels. She pulled double aces. She feels like her blessings have come to her because of her faith. Her opposition in the courts, it's their karma. She feels like they don't have a leg to stand on, the Democrats or liberals, because they're not standing on anything eternal. And she is standing on something eternal. And she sees the Constitution as aligned with the eternal message of her faith. Not saying you have to agree with her. I'm just in her head. It's my job. She's got a nice trip coming. Good for her. It looks like she's headed somewhere like Mexico or something. Final outcome, a heavy storm is over the courts. You have to realize that the Hierophant is the Constitution. And so the Hierophant is her final outcome with a Knight of Swords. They will be battling the Constitution. The message from her is, we may battle the Constitution. We may have dramatically different interpretations, but we all agree that the Constitution is the law of the land. And that's why Trump lost in court 7-2 yesterday. Because though we may agree, though we may not see eye to eye, rest assured that the message here is that the law of the land remains the Constitution, because the Constitution is the final outcome. But boy, look at the rage. People are fighting for what they think is, right. And um, that kind of conviction that you are right because God told you to so is really dangerous, actually. You think about people like, um, what was his name? Rabbi Levine? He was the first chief rabbi of the state of Israel. And he said that type of confidence is a spiritual crisis because it can become dogma, and at that point you're not able to learn anything. I know I'm right and I have no doubt and I'm going to stand up here. It's like, you're in a spiritual crisis, my friend. That's what the rabbi would say. Rabbi Cook. It was Rabbi Cook. The person who refuses to believe that they could be wrong. I know I'm right and Jesus talks to me every night. And it's an interesting response for your rabbi to say to you, like, I know I'm right and I'm standing here as this holy person on this mountain, to have a rabbi come up and say, you're really having issues right now. Because for him, doubting yourself and constantly asking questions means you're on a good road spiritually. And when you stop doing that, you're in a crisis. Isn't that interesting? All right. Next question coming in about Trump. Lovely to see all you beautiful people. We have 361 gorgeous souls here. It'd be great if you could like, share, subscribe. Thank you for your presence, your love, your memberships. We're at, I think, 400 members right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And donations and everything else. It really keeps us up and running. So we're very grateful for that. Okay, why is Trump so crazy about Greenland? Well, the truth of the matter is we've talked about the fact that the Russians are cutting through the Bering Straits, and it's a trade route to get through that area. And so for security reasons, NATO has talked about wanting to put U.S. troops and NATO in Greenland to protect against this trade coming in between China and Russia through the Bering Strait. So people don't think it's necessarily a bad idea, but you don't get that we could probably have more bases there, right? Just like we have bases in Okinawa, but that's not the same as taking someone's country. It's pretty crazy. Okay, let's look at Greenland. But yeah, we do need to have somebody watching that area because there's a lot going on. And I think a lot of the drone sightings are Chinese drones that you're seeing in those areas that look like UFOs. I think they're just drones from the Chinese mostly. All right, Greenland, confusion, howling at the moon, lunacy. Why? Don't you think somebody should stop him? Like, when he acts crazy like this, you would think that people would say, okay, the president's insane. Maybe his advisors need, like Miller, need to take him aside and say, actually, sir, we're not taking Greenland. But instead, I think that they're saying, yeah, we're taking Greenland, right? So it does present as lunacy, howling at the moon, a lunatic, doesn't know what they want. The opposition to a wants. They would love to have a partnership with him in terms of protecting the West. Remember, two of wands looks west. Global partnerships west. Don't you love how the universe communicates with us like a supercomputer when we use the cards? Opposition, Western alliances. Hopes and fears, Eastern alliances, Three of Wands. Damn, girls, boys, what is this? Final outcome, defending their territory. No, he's crazy. He's not going to take Greenland. There is, I just got a hit from Spirit. Don't forget the oil. Thank you, Spirit. So what Spirit, I didn't even know about that. You guys can go ahead and Google it. Anyway, I just got the hit. You know how there's oil in Alaska? Well, evidently they want to drill in the frozen tundra. They want to do exploration. Yeah, that's what happened. They're defending their land from the invaders. They want to pick through the permafrost. All that decaying permafrost for millions and billions of years, it turns into what? Crude oil. Why don't they just do? I think that they should work with the country of Greenland. Was it Denmark? Is it who owns it? Denmark? To do exploratory research around the area for natural gas and crude oil and everything else. Exploration. That's what they're saying. So just go ahead and work with. So you're going to freaking invade them so you can get their oil? What a damn nut job. That's basically what happened. Well, I mean, it dawns on me now that I'm in the energy that everything decomposes. All life, it's a carbon life form. It's like, have you guys ever heard of shilajit? Do you guys know what shilajit is? Shilajit? Shilajit is something that's turned, it is plants that have decomposed on a rock and have turned into like a crude oil. And it's just clumps of this crude oil like substance, and it's extremely good for your health. And they sell it, but it's often given to seniors because it's loaded with minerals. And but it is a crude kind of early. This is what you can burn it. This is what these old plants they decompose and turn into. So you have, this is the process, you see, of the decay and how it eventually will turn into. And so what Spirit showed me in that remote was that the entire permafrost area in Greenland, there are many like this. And so what they want to do is they think that it's going to be like the oil in Siberia. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. You guys want to talk about it? They're pirates. They're pirates. You just have to look at them as pirates. It's never altruistic. It's never altruistic. It's always, what can we get? I don't know. I mean, what's the takeaway? What is the takeaway? I don't know. It's just some people are like that. Do you guys have you ever had any friends or family members that are like that? As soon as they come to visit you, did you ever grow up like this? They're like, yeah, and they immediately open your refrigerator, what you got to eat. Do you know people like that? I know people like that. It has that aspect to it, doesn't it? Where they kind of like, oh, but also it's like, well, you need protection. You need protection from those Russians that are coming in. So I think what we need to do is we need to take over and do some oil exploration. It's like, yeah, it's pretty funny. Mad Vlad, that's right. Mad Trump and Mad Vlad. Vlad the Inhaler. Mm-hmm. Oh, and King Robert the Bruce on both sides. Well, royals, they love a making a love. So royals get around. It's like I'm part Welsh. My grandfather was Welsh. It was such a small gene pool, the Welsh, that the servants married the kings married the servants, and everybody married everybody, because there was nobody there. People didn't go to Wales. It was an isolated community, and so when you do your DNA, if you're Welsh, we're all related to the royals because we're Welsh. It's pretty funny. Okay, what else is going on? How many times have they moved the goalpost on end of days? Not sure what that's about. Um, oh, you mean people who think that the world is coming to an end? I don't know. I wish it wouldn't come to an end. One day we'll be right if we keep on this trajectory. We want peace. More NATO bases needed in Greenland. Yeah, exactly, Joel. I think that's true, but it doesn't. He wants to bring in oil. His friends want to go in and do oil exploration. Do we think that the military take Trump to the loony prison? I think it was headed in that direction. I mean, I think that if Kamala had stayed, she would have opened up the opportunity for people in positions of power to have prosecuted him and taken him to where he needed to go. And if you're asking me as a remote viewer to get into the heads of the people investigating him, trying to figure out what do we do with him, they had decided pretty early on that house arrest was going to be a problem because it was going to become a security nightmare. So when I worked it out as a remote viewer, sitting in the chair, because as a remote viewer, we sit in the war room and we become one of the war people. And so I put myself in a state where I've got to make this decision. I've got this guy. We're probably going to convict him. Where the hell do I put him? And when you put yourself in that shoes where I am the person making this decision, all of a sudden it opens up a part of your brain as an HCRV practitioner, like, okay, I can't do that. I can't put my Secret Service at risk by having him in a house arrest because we're going to constantly having loonies trying to break in. And how would we even control the area? Well, Eric offered to take him, but this is a security issue. So the next place I went in my head is we could put him on a military base. If we put him on a military base and we house him in an area of the base as a prisoner in that location, then we're going to have a much easier time controlling the situation. The closest that the looky-loos are going to get is they're going to drive past the military prison on the freeway and say, isn't that where Trump is housed? And take a photograph. The idea here, when you went into the energy, was if it gets to that point, this is how we're going to have to handle it. And did that conversation happen? And my belief is that the conversation happened and that the decision based on how I felt in the remote was that we were going to have to put him in some type of a situation as a lone prisoner, most likely on a military base. That was where they were headed because everything else wouldn't have worked. But we can reprimand him into custody. And there were arguments to because he's the commander in chief, we can also put him in a military situation. There were a lot of reasons why, as the target, I felt like we could get away with this. Yeah, he's the commander in chief. Where else are we going to have him serve? He's committed treason. We have to put him in a military base, just like under military watch, just like Napoleon, I mean, it's like otherwise you're going to have civil war. Okay, next question. Seriously, I thought it was all talk, but I love what Whimsy just did. I don't think it's a Coke anymore. Oh, I don't really understand that question. You mean what drugs Trump and Putin are on? Well, I think definitely amphetamines of some type because of the paranoid delusions, and like cocaine and some of the other amphetamines, the person begins to think that they're a genius and have almost like these messianic delusions about themselves. And just his personality traits and the impulsivity, the lack of impulse control and everything else that happened, his relationship with the church, his relationship with Prigozhin, it just becomes apparent to the remote viewer that this guy's got a drug problem. These are the ramblings of a damaged, drug-infected mind. That's basically FEMA, the future of FEMA. Let's take a look. Rare earth metals too? Yeah. So crude oil, yeah. Money that could go to the indigenous people, the people who own that land, the people who come from them. God, no wonder they're depressed. You know they have high suicide rate? God. Trump is such a parasite. I'm sorry. It's just such a terrible. Okay, what are we doing here? FEMA. They're not going to be able to cut FEMA because there is an attempt here to privatize FEMA. That's what it looks like. Ace of Pentacles, final outcome. They want to privatize it. They want everything to be privatized so that they can give the job to their friends so their friends can get rich. But the only problem is they're not solving the problem. They're just giving their friends jobs. And the problem with giving your friends jobs is that the job they're doing doesn't necessarily solve the problem. It's just giving your friend a job because he voted for you and he's a important constituent. And that's the disaster that happened with Cheney, where he was charging $100 for a towel that he was selling to the U.S. military. I mean, just Ace of Pentacles, big money. So hanged man in the opposition. I think they want to. I think they want to sell FEMA to the private industries. Now, your next question: well, private who? Well, take a look at some of what's being developed. If you're looking at boxables, for example, this, by the way, would be an example of privatization. You can see the partnership coming in, the two of wands. You can see Ace of Pentacles, which is a money card. The opposition is hanging up FEMA. And then the Hierophant, which would be an ethics or constitutional issue. If you're looking at boxables probably will get a contract with FEMA. And boxables are a private company. What's the problem with boxable being a private company? It's a lot of money that's going towards people that are there to make a profit, but there's more to FEMA than just people needing boxable houses. But it's going to be good contract for boxable. All right. So then the next question is, who are the main investors in boxable? Who are investing? Who are putting their money in boxable and say, I can get the price down to 10,000? Elon Musk. So who gets the FEMA contracts? You see what I mean? I can actually, you know what? Sometimes when as a reader, I will sit here and I can feel the rage on the other side. When I give information and I feel the emotion, like people are just so angry at this, at what's happening, that, a child died the other day from a lot of children are dying right now because they cut U.S. aid. But that's more money for Elon Musk, right? That's more money that's been saved that can then go to private companies for friends like Elon Musk and their boxable company. Well, I got all this money now because we killed a bunch of kids, right? So if you look at articles that are coming out right now by people that I respect quite a bit, like Nicholas Kristof, he's documenting every child that's starved to death because of Elon Musk. So it's something so horrible And it's something so dishonest too, because on the one hand, we're being told that this is being done because it's good for America, and then we're finding out that it's just good for Elon Musk. But you guys know who Nicholas Kristof is? I wonder if I can remember how to. Hope I spelled his name right. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find an article before we close today. I don't want the victims of this administration to not be seen. I think it's very important that we see these people and that we acknowledge that they were alive and that they had a life and that their life meant something to us. And this was one of those lives. This is Evan Anzu, and he starved to death because of Elon Musk. Elon Musk starved this child to death because this child required U.S. aid nutritional density protein, which was 12 cents a scoop, and it was keeping him alive. And unfortunately, the supplies were blocked. And in that time, that week and a half, when this kid, which was in advanced hunger, could not get his food, he died. So I wrote, Elon Musk, take a good look at the kid because you just murdered him. And so we just want to take a moment to acknowledge Evan Anzu and to remind ourselves of why we're marching April 5th. Pretty horrible. We need to see the faces of the child victims of war and greed and everything else. And then we have to come together in unity to get them oasis. I think it's morally reprehensible that we as adults cannot get children to oasis. It's no excuse for it. What happened to Evan there's just no excuse. And there's a special place, trust me, they will get theirs. They will get theirs. But that I can't worry about that right now. As a peace activist, I can't work, and neither can you. We just got to get to oasis. We just got to do everything in our power to save as many lives as possible, get organized, remember what we're doing, who we're fighting for, what we're fighting for, and just stay focused. Yeah. All right, my beautiful, loving, gorgeous, amazing spirits. Thank you so much for being with me and spending this cool Hot Topics Thursdays. If you're trying to get in for a reading, you need to see me as a naturopathic doctor, medical intuitive, or just to get a card reading. You can find the information below this video. I see people through Booksy. You make the appointment, then I call you on the phone. Hey, it's Whimsy. It's real simple. All right. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Suggest any gay people stay away from the marches? No. They can. We're all getting together, LGBTQ. But my thing is, please don't go with anyone you don't know. Please do not leave the area. This happened last time. Remember, kids got killed, people got raped and murdered. They had honey. What do they call it? They went fishing, right? They send sexy girls out. Black Lives Matter march, right? They sent sexy white supremacists out and then lured these kids into cars and boys too, sexy boys. That girl got raped and killed. She escaped. She got back to her house. They followed her and killed her. I'm telling you, after what happened last time, please trust me on this. Do not. I don't care how cute he, she, they are. You go with the same people. You leave. You go and leave with the same people. And everybody I'm organizing a group. You count your people before and after. I don't want anyone hurt. All right. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. See you August 5th if you're in Portland. April 5th, excuse me. Be there.